Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So in talking about the biggest honors that can be bestowed upon an NHL player, the Hall of Fame is near the top of that list. So today I thought it'd be a fun idea to run through which active players I think will one day be Hall of Famers, whether it's Connor Bedard, who's only 19 years old, or Brett Burns, who's like 39 years old. I'm going to go team by team and tell you which players I think will end up being in the Hall of Fame and which ones do I think could potentially fall short when their career is all said and done. So without further ado, we got 32 goddamn teams to go through. So we're going to get right into it. And up first, we have the 2024 Stanley Cup winning Florida Panthers. And as you can imagine, after winning the Stanley Cup, some of their guys' Hall of Fame chances increased even more. Sergei Bobrovsky, if he wasn't already a lock with 2 Vezinas, 396 wins, he's a no-doubt guy now if he retired tomorrow. Alexander Barkov, another Selke win this year on top of the Stanley Cup, 2 Selke wins, 700 career points, unless he retires or God forbid has a career-ending injury, he's going to end up being a Hall of Famer. Matthew Tkachuk is around point per game in 600 career games. So as long as he continues to yet again be around the 90 to 110 point guy for the next 3 to 5 years, and then age is good, I think he's also going to be a Hall of Famer. Has been a Hart finalist in his career. Guys like Ekblad and Reinhart, Sam Bennett, Verhaeghe, no, probably not, unless Florida turns into an utter dynasty and wins 3, 4, 5 Stanley Cups. Next up, the New York Islanders. My only Islander that I think has a chance at the Hall of Fame at this point. Varley, not quite there, a Hall of very good. But Sorokin, maybe if he gets a Vezina win, is just an elite top 5 starter for the next half decade. Could potentially see it. I wouldn't bet on it right now, so it's going to be a no for me. Barzal, Dobson, not going to happen. The Dallas Stars have a bunch of interesting picks. I think Heiskanen is the clear cut. I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I think he's going to be a top 5 defenseman for about the next decade, and he's been one for the past 2 years. Jason Robertson, if you asked me this at the end of last year, I'd say 80% chance that he's probably going to be at 24 years old. He had 109 points. I'm still going to go with the yes, but it's definitely more of a soft yes after a down year. I think he is going to bounce back and be a consistent 95 to 100 point guy for most of his prime. Jake Ottinger, I'm going to go with I'm gonna go with a no. I don't think he's ever gonna get the Vezina. He might have the career wins to do it, but I don't know if he's ever gonna have the Vezina and be a true top 3 goalie throughout his prime. And then guys like Sagan, no. Jamie Benn, if his prime lasted a little bit longer and he had better longevity, more consistent longevity, maybe yes, but right now probably no. Duchesne, no. Wyatt Johnston is a tough one, but right now I really haven't seen quite enough in terms of him developing into a legit superstar. I think that he might do it, but I'm gonna go with no. The Vancouver Canucks, Quinn Hughes is a surefire thing when looking at it. The fact that he's been point per game his first around 300 games in the NHL, has that Norris Trophy. So as long as he continues to produce at a high level, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Elias Pettersson, I'm also going to go with yes. It's kind of a softer yes, considering the fact that he has not really had that Hart caliber season yet. But if he just continues to be around a 90 to 100 point two-way top 15 player in the NHL, the longevity is going to be there in order for him to be a Hall of Famer. Thatcher Demko, I'm going to go with no, considering the fact that he's been a little bit injury prone. Yes, he was a Vezina runner-up this year, but if he never wins a Vezina, it's going to be tough unless the Canucks win multiple cups. And then JT Miller just wasn't good enough early on in his career to be a Hall of Famer, so he gets a no from me. The Boston Bruins, David Pastrnak, yes, if he retired today, there's probably an argument for him being a Hall of Famer, considering the fact dude won a Rocket in 2020, 2023, Hart runner-up this past year, 110 points. So when looking at him in the next 5 years, he's going to be a no-doubt guy. Brad Marchand, right now, if he retired, I'm not sure if he'd be a Hall of Famer, but I think after another 2 to 3 years, get to 1,100 career points. His prime was 2 first-team All-NHLs, 2 second All-NHL teams over a 5-year period. I think that he has the prime and is eventually going to have the longevity in the Stanley Cup to be a Hall of Famer. Charlie McAvoy, I'm going to go with no. I just don't think he's ever going to have those gaudy point totals to be really in Hart debate, so I don't think that he's going to, when it's all said and done, have the resume that's going to get him to the Hall of Fame. And Jeremy Swayman, I'm going to go with a soft no, just because we haven't even seen him play more than 45 games in a goddamn season as a legit number 1. So until I see that, I'm going to go with no as of right now. The New Jersey Devils, I think Jack Hughes is going to be a Hall of Famer as long as he can just replicate that 2023 season, even if he never turns into a 110-point legit top 8 player in the entire NHL. I think considering the fact that we just saw him have 98 points, 78 games, as long as he can be around that, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Jacob Markstrom, no, too inconsistent. It wasn't really a full-time starter until he was 26, 27. Luke Hughes, Nico Hischier, Simone Nemec, no as of right now. When looking at Nemec, I think he probably have the best chance of that group. He's sure maybe if he can win a Selke or two, and the New Jersey Devils can win some Stanley Cups. And then Dougie Hamilton is kind of just a Hall of very good guy, a very, very good offensive #1 defenseman, but never quite that superstar, legit like top 6 or 7 defenseman in the NHL. The Utah Hockey Club, no one's really close. Clayton Keller, I don't even know if he'd end up being like a Hall of very good guy. He is a very good offensive player, but not quite on that level. Maybe if Logan Cooley develops into that franchise #1 center, you can make an argument that he's going to be a Hall of Famer one day. I cannot say that right now. The Seattle Kraken, same thing kind of goes with them. Matty Beniers, maybe if he gets back on that amazing trajectory, wins a Selke or two, and becomes a point-per-game 90-point guy. But as of right now, I can't say anybody. The Red Wings, Patrick Kane, 1,000%, one of the best American player of all time as of right now. Tarasenko, probably not unless he has fantastic longevity and wins even some more cups. And when looking at Seider, Larkin, and Raymond, I think they're more so projecting to be Hall of very good players than say Hall of Fame. I would say Lucas Raymond has the best chance out of those guys, but as of right now, I would go no. The Carolina Hurricanes, Brett Burns is going to be a Hall of Famer as a defenseman, has like over 800 points. He won the Norris once, was a Norris runner-up. Another time was just such a freak talent offensive defenseman that he's punched his ticket like 3 to 4 years ago probably. And Sebastian Aho, I'm going to go no right now unless he wins some Stanley Cups. I don't think that he has the individual offensive flair to be a Hall of Famer one day. He's just been a very consistent top 20 to 30 player in the NHL, but doesn't really have the individual success as of right now to be a Hall of Famer. The St. Louis Blues, Ryan Suter's their closest pick, but I still think that he's a Hall of very good guy. Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou, Pavel Buchnevich, very good players, but not close to Hall of Fame level. The Calgary Flames, nobody really on that roster at this point. Jonathan Huberdeau, after 2022, was trending to be a Hall of Famer, but then he obviously fell off a cliff. The Buffalo Sabres, I think Rasmus Dahlin probably is going to be a Hall of Famer. He would get a yes in my book. The rest, Tage Thompson, Owen Power, not quite there, especially Tage Thompson got a little bit of a late start, so I don't, even right now, he's not, doesn't have the individual prime outside of maybe 2023 to warrant a Hall of Fame level career. So no, nobody else besides Rasmus Dahlin at this point. The Washington Capitals, Alexander Ovechkin, obviously, yes. Nicholas Backstrom, he's not even technically like an active player, but I go back and forth on Backstrom so much. It's tough because he's basically out of hockey. He's going to only finish with 1,000 career points, although he played with Ovechkin, helped him, but also like he never had that one amazing season outside of one 100-point season. I'm going to go with yes, though, because I think he was one of the best passers of his generation, was just such a special talent, and he played in a lower scoring league. And when looking at John Carlson, I think he's, though, more Hall of very good. Maybe if he won that Norris Trophy in 2020, he would have a better argument, but as of right now, I think that he's definitely more of a Hall of very good guy than a Hall of Famer. If he has very good longevity, I could potentially see it. Minnesota Wild, Kirill Kaprizov, I think will be a Hall of Famer, even though he didn't get his NHL start until like 23 years old. Basically, since he's walked into the NHL, he's been around the 45 to 50 goal, 100-ish point pace guy. And I think that's going to continue for another 3 to 4 seasons. He's going to sniff at least one Hart in his career, and he will have the longevity numbers on top of the prime. Marc-Andre Fleury is a Hall of Famer. People call him overrated. I don't think that he's this all-time goalie, but he's definitely a Hall of Famer given his longevity, and he did get that massive Vezina win in 2021, even though it was a shortened season. Matt Boldy and Brock Faber, I think, are trending more so to be Hall of very good players, though, than, say, Hall of Fame. The LA Kings, Doughty, Kopitar, they're locks, without a doubt. They probably punched their ticket like 3-4 seasons ago. They are some of the best players of the 21st century. Quinton Byfield, I can't quite say a yes right now. I would lean towards no. Brant Clark, the same, although they both definitely have Hall of Fame potential if they fully reach their potential. Next up, the Montreal Canadiens. Slavkovsky, I'm going to lean no as of right now. I think he's going to be a very elite first liner. However, Ivan Demidov, I am going to go with yes. If he lives up to his potential, I do think he's going to be a Hall of Famer one day. I think he has legit 105 kind of potential. So I'm going to go with a yes for Demidov. Other guys like Hudson, Caulfield, Suzuki, can't quite go Hall of Fame with them. But I think Demidov, even though he's obviously the least proven of the bunch, I'm going to go with him just because I love him as a prospect. The Pittsburgh Penguins, Crosby, Malkin, Carlson, no doubt, already locked it up years ago. Chris Letang, I think will get in, considering the fact that he has had pretty solid longevity. The career numbers are pretty impressive, like 750 50 career points, as well as the fact that he won 3 Stanley Cups. I think he's probably going to get in. I don't think maybe from an individual standpoint, and he got hurt a lot, so that kind of hurt like his Norris finishes, Norris finalists, but I think he's going to get in considering the winning and the longevity that he has put up. The Winnipeg Jets, Connor Hellebuyck's really the only pick here. Josh Morrissey, Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, definitely trying to be more Hall of Very Good guys, but Connor Hellebuyck, 2 Vezinas. I think in like a year or two from now, 2 more elite top 5 seasons in the NHL, and Connor Hellebuyck is already a first ballot guy, in my opinion. The Anaheim Ducks, I'm going to go with my boy Leo Carlsson to be a Hall of Famer one day. I'm biased. I am biased. That is the day one, as well as guys like Minchikov, McTavish, and Gauthier could potentially be Hall of Famers. I would lean no right now, but I do think Leo Carlsson at age 18, this guy put up like 45, 50-point pace. I think he's trending to be their franchise #1 center and can have a similar career to like a Ryan Getzlaf in terms of being just a stud top 15 player in the entire NHL. The Ottawa Senators, Tim Stützle, I'm going to go with yes. I think he's going to get back on track after a down year. However, Sanderson and Tkachuk, I think more so, all are Hall of Very Good guys. Claude Giroux's a guy I go back and forth on. If he can have fantastic longevity the next 3 to 4 years, I would arguably put him in. The guy never was a Hart finalist, but had 2 different 4th place finishes and was a legit fringe top 5 center in the NHL in his prime. So I kind of go back and forth on that, but I think as of right now, I would go no with Claude Giroux. The Chicago Blackhawks, I do think Bedard's going to be a Hall of Famer after a 61-point season in 68 games. I think he's going to be a superstar. I would be shocked at this point if he doesn't turn into a Hall of Famer. Something like would have to go bad in terms of some type of injury, God forbid. Taylor Hall, though. Taylor Hall and the Chicago Blackhawks, I'm going to go with no unless he has some massive resurgence. Yes, he has a Hart Trophy, but he was not very consistent throughout his career on top of dealing with these injuries later in his career that has really restricted his overall point totals. So as a result, it's going to be a no from me for Taylor Hall. The Vegas Golden Knights, I think Eichel will get in. He already has pretty impressive point totals for a 27-year-old. I think he's around like 550. He has been a franchise center basically since like 2017 for the most part, although he can't stay healthy fully. But I think he's going to get in. I think he's going to have the total point totals on top of that Stanley Cup. Mark Stone and Alex Pietrangelo, though, I think they might be Hall of Very Good players. Mark Stone is kind of tough because the injuries have kind of slowed him down in terms of later. And Alex Pietrangelo, he was a top 10 defenseman. Was he ever a legit top 5 stud defenseman? I'm not so sure on that. It's more so the winning with Alex Pietrangelo. I can go either way, but I think as of right now for Stone and Pietrangelo, both Hall of Very Good. Same thing obviously goes for Shea Theodore. The Tampa Bay Lightning, Vasilevsky, Cooch, Hedman, all easy yes, all first ballot guys, no doubt. Both have individual team and just individual hardware, team hardware, and their individual primes have been absolutely insane. Braden Point, I'm going to go with yes, considering the fact that he was the #1 center on back-to-back Stanley Cup winning teams, especially the last 2 seasons, regular season-wise, although he gets to play with Nikita Kucherov, have just been so impressive. I think it kind of puts him over the top. He's going to go well north of 1,000 points. Gensel is an interesting case, though. I think he's more so trending to be a Hall of Very Good guy, but the fact that he did get traded to the Tampa Bay Lightning later in his career, and now he's going to get to play with a Nikita Kucherov, with a Braden Point on that power play, if he can rip home like 40-plus goal seasons the next 4 to 5 seasons, I could potentially be flipped. The only problem is right now he's about to be 30 in October, and he only has 491 points, and I think we could agree he's not going to probably win the Rocket Richard or win any personal hardware, so he's going to have some monster seasons. He does have a 1 Stanley Cup, and maybe he'll get another on the Tampa Bay Lightning. But as of right now, for Gensel, I'm going to go with a no. The Philadelphia Flyers, Matvei Michkov, I'm going to go with the yes. He's my second best prospect in all of hockey. So if I have Demidov, I'm a Michkov guy over Demidov. So if I have that, then obviously I'm going to have Michkov as potential Hall of Famer. I think he is going to be a franchise superstar for the Philadelphia Flyers. The Nashville Predators, Yossi Stamkos, no doubt, first ballot, forget about it, retire tomorrow. Ryan O'Reilly is more so of a Hall of Very Good guy. 2019 was a Hall of Fame peak, considering the fact he was point per game, Selke, Conn Smythe, amazing. But it's still, the overall body of work isn't quite there in terms of, he's actually having fantastic longevity, so maybe he will get to like 1,100 career points. But as of right now, I think I would go more so Hall of Very Good, unless he plays like at this level like he did last year for another 3 to 4 years, or the Predators win a Stanley Cup. I'm going to go Hall of Very Good. Saros, on the other hand, I am actually going to go with Hall of Fame when looking at him. I think he's going to win a Vezina over the next 3 years on this loaded of a team. People forget how good this guy was between 2021 to 2023. and he did get games early on as the backup to Pekka Rinne. So he already has a very impressive 182 wins at 29 years old. That is a lot of goddamn wins. I know wins aren't a goalie stat, but when looking at Hall of Fame careers, that is going to matter. So I think he's going to go well north of 350 wins when it's all said and done. And if he has a Vezina, and if he has a couple deep playoff runs with this Nashville Predators core, I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer. And then Philip Forsberg is more so of a Hall of very good guy, but I don't think that's that very controversial. Edmonton Oilers, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, already probably first ballot Hall of Famer. McDavid, obviously, but Draisaitl probably would already be in, given the fact that he has a heart and is well over a point per game. Bouchard, I think I'm going to go with the soft yes. I know I'm going to get killed for that, but I think when looking at the Hall of Fame, the points that he's going to rack up, assuming their big three with Bouchard and Draisaitl and McDavid stays together, he's going to be like above 75 points the next 5, 6, 7 years. It might just be so gaudy that they have to put him in. I think he's going to have some Norris finalist finishes, and if Edmonton wins the Stanley Cup, like I think they are going to win over the next 5 years, I think Evan Bouchard's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Zach Hyman, probably not. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins will probably have pretty gross long-term numbers. He's probably going to go over 1,000 points, maybe even 1,100, but still doesn't have the individual prime to be a Hall of Famer. Zach Hyman, same thing kind of goes for him. It's outside of the fact that he didn't really come in until he was like 24, 25 years old. And then Corey Perry, I keep on going back and forth on. I think personally, I maybe wouldn't have him in, but I think he's going to go in considering he has the triple gold, considering he has that massive heart win. I think he's going to get in. For the Toronto Maple Leafs, Austin Matthews, he's already a Hall of Famer. If he retires tomorrow, he has 3 Rocket Richards and 1 Hart Trophy. Mitch Marner, I think I'm going to go with the soft no just because he's such a controversial player. Yes, he is such a very good two-way player that puts up around 90 to 100 points, but I'm not sure if they put him in. And William Nylander, no as well, considering the fact he has like 100 points less than Mitch Marner and doesn't even have the versatile defensive game. But if those guys win a Stanley Cup, I think I would probably definitely flip on Marner, maybe even for Nylander. OEL, Morgan Riley, obviously no. The New York Rangers, Fox, Shesterkin, Panarin, all should get in with ease, considering the Fox and Shesterkin already have a major award. Panarin has a Calder. Panarin didn't come over till he was 24, 25, but is probably going to cruise to north of 1,000 points. And after this late kind of resurgence, after a bit of a down year in 2023, he's right again on track to be a Hall of Famer. And Jonathan Quick as well, I would have him in the Hall of Fame, considering the fact in the early 2010s, he was a top 3 goal in the NHL, amazing in the playoffs, and is coming up on 400 career wins. I forget if he passed Ryan Miller as the all-time most winningest American goalie of all time. So I think he's going to get in. Zibanejad and Kreider, they're not going to have the career numbers or really the overall prime. Yes, they have insane like 1-year primes. 2020 Zibanejad, 2022 Kreider. Those were nuts seasons, but I think they're more so Hall of very good guys. The Avalanche, McKinnon and Makar are easily getting in. They're probably in right now. As well as Rantanen, I would say that he is in. He's going to get, no, he's not in right now, but he's going to get in. Probably going to finish his career around like 500 goals, 750 assists for around 1,250 career points. That's a Hall of Fame career. Devontae's, he would need some kind of like, they would need to win like 3 or 4 Stanley Cups and be another dynasty. And Landeskog, I'm going to go no right now, but if he comes back very strong, maybe there will be a possibility. Probably not though, considering the fact he missed so many seasons of what should have been his prime. And then for the final 2, the Columbus Blue Jackets, Adam Fantilli, I'm going to go with yes. After what I saw in his rookie year, I still think that he is going to be a franchise superstar center for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Caden Lindstrom, maybe if he hits his high-end ceiling, could potentially be a Hall of Famer. None of the other guys really on the Blue Jackets would be that close. And then lastly, the San Jose Sharks, Celebrini, it's a yes. Don't think he's going to be a Bedard level talent, but think he is going to be a 90 to 100 point legit superstar. Will Smith, Askarov, got to see how they look at the NHL level this season to see if they're projecting, considering they have such a little sample size. And then Logan Couture, as well as Mark-Edward Vlasic. No, not going to be in the Hall of Fame. Definitely more so Hall of very good guys. But yeah, let me know in the comments. What do you think about this? Was I being too harsh? Was I being too lenient? Again, 4 male players make it every single year in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Maybe I was being a little bit too lenient on guys like, say, like a Robertson, an Eichel, a Bouchard. But let me know in the comments. What do you think about it? I'll be seeing you in the next one.